Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. I'm Justin Barrientos. He's Tom Sawyer. Thank you for joining us here today.
Yeah, great to be here.
And 4-0. We'll get to that in just a minute, but I look at the recap of everything and I see there's a different quarterback this week for the Warriors. So tell us about what happened there.
Yeah, Owen Burke started the game for us. In fact, he played almost the whole game. Brady Mundahl came in at the end as well. Darren was with us. He's been kind of nursing a foot injury, so he's been playing fine. There was no reason except that we just thought that we want to give him a little bit more time. So we're not nagging that injury along, or it's not being nagged along every single week. We're trying to get it behind us at 100%. And but he was dressed and ready to go if we needed him. And so we knew during the week that we were going to make that change and got Owen ready. And I thought he did for his first college start. He got his first touchdown pass and got hit in the back for the first time as well. Right. So a lot of experience. I think that was really valuable for him, and also obviously we hope that Darren will heal up as well.
All right, 9 of 23 was Owen, 114 yards. He was sacked 3 times, so there was a lot of pressure on him. And you said, he gets the first big hit out of the way. How did he deal with all the pressure that he faced?
Well, he dealt with it fine. We were upset about the protection. That was one thing when you bring in a new quarterback or any new player in that kind of a role, that the rest of the guys got to rise up around him. And we missed a check in our backs. He didn't check the corner blitzed, and it's part of our regular routine and protections, and we missed it. So that's the one that he took in the back. And so when you have a kid like that going in, you want to do everything you can around. You want to make the big catch. You want to protect him. But it's also part of football. So you just keep moving forward. He popped right up. He was fine.
All right. So we said you're 4-0. Now you're nationally ranked up to number 25 in the latest poll that just came out a couple hours ago. Your reaction to that?
Well, polls are just kind of a neat thing. In the world of instant gratification, it's nice. It's exciting. Like I told our team last week when we were on the D2 poll, but we weren't on the AFCA poll. What that is it's a fun thing to celebrate with your family and together, that we're making strides, we're making steps. There's a long ways from 25 to 1. And, so here we go, and it just gives us something else to be excited about, and that our hard work is paying off, and now other people recognize it as well. And I think the AFCA poll, when you're getting voted on by the coaches, I think that's something that is really important to our players.
It has to be kind of sweet, though, this year, considering where the NSIC coaches poll had you at the beginning of the year, though.
Yeah, and it is, but you don't know. We had a lot of unknowns, and you move a lot of people out of our offense, and we just put new kids in, and it takes a while to get established on who's who. And I don't think a lot of coaches don't know what you did in the spring and how good these young kids are, like the kids we have here today. Our young kids are really playing. There's a lot of names that people don't know yet, but they're starting to recognize them. So being recognized by your coaches at the beginning of the year isn't as important as it is now as we move throughout the season.
All right, let's get back to the game from Saturday and talk a little bit about the offense, because you put up 447 yards of offense, had 335 yards rushing, which is a season high. I know that you've been talking about having to get that running game going, and you got that going this week. Talk about the different backs that you used. I know Eric Berth got over 100 yards, but you also used several different backs in the game on Saturday. Yeah,
that was our game plan going in, is handle the clock, handle the time of possession, keep our offense on the field and that kind of stuff. But the 4 backs we had, Eric Berth had another big day, but he only played about 30% of the snaps. Javian Roebuck had another touchdown on a Statue of Liberty play. And then 2 kids came in, that Landon Jacobson, who's truly a freshman, although he's in his 3rd year, but he's still a freshman running back. And also Sam Santiago Lloyd. And those guys at the end of the game and most of the second half, but they ran like they were crazy people. It was awesome. I mean, they just ran angry and made big yards, and we went in with an attitude in the running back group and came out with a couple touchdowns and did a really nice job.
I want to ask you about the Statue of Liberty play. You talked about it, Javian Roebuck. It was a 52-yard run for him. That's one of your favorite plays, we know, watching you all these years. Talk about that play, and what is it that you are looking to do in that situation? Obviously gain yards, but I mean, are you looking to throw teams off, or what is the purpose of the play?
Yeah, it's not really a whole lot different than a screenplay. It's a delay game, but it comes off our 3-step passing game, and you can defend it all you want, but at the same time, it's a little bit of trickery. But really what it is it's getting the defense off their stride, and if the defensive formation aligns right for us, we can run it against anybody. But there are things that we'll check out of it too. But with a kid like Zach Olstead blocking on the backside of that, and our quarterbacks be able to handle the football like they do, that's what makes it work.
All right. Anything else for the offense? I mean, like I said, it's 447 yards. Pretty impressive. We talked about the backs. How about the receivers?
Yeah, they did a nice job too. We had a couple drops too, but Jake Blue had a couple big catches. Marley Allison got in the mix with a couple catches. So again, we're continuing to, really, we got about 20 guys now that have caught balls, and I think that's really important. But our timing and everything that we're doing in our offense is now starting to gel. So we're getting better and better. We knew we weren't going to throw it for 300 probably. It wasn't in the game plan for that. So we executed exactly like we wanted to, and that may change this week. But overall, our offense is really starting to click because we had some people change up front too.
Okay.
And our starting center, Vince Falco, hasn't played a couple games now. Hopefully he'll be back this week. But starting to look at guys are moving around. There's a lot of change, and we're still performing at a very high level.
All right. Before we get to defense, let's talk about offensive line, because I know that's kind of a thing that needs to gel. You need to have the guys that play together, know where everybody is going to be. And you talked about Vince. He missed the last home game. We saw him on the sidelines with crutches. So how is that offensive line coming together? I know you said you were a little disappointed in protection, but how are they doing?
Yeah, and even the protection part, it wasn't always the offensive line. One time he ate one on a three-step that he should have threw it away, and one the running back gave up, so they only gave up one. But Colin Valley is the go-to guy right now, and he moved from guard to center, and he has taken over. He was our player of the week offensively this week. But it is. I mean, that's it's like a basketball team. They got to play together. They got to feel each other where they're at. And Max Mueller's come in now and started 2 games at left guard. Has done a great job. I mean, he's out leading on that statue, and he's running all over the field. So guys are starting to get comfortable again. And when that happens, then teams can blitz and do all the movement they want, and we can handle it as long as they're working together.
All right, defense. That's been the story of the last couple of years. You only gave up 195 yards on defense, 11 tackles for losses, 3 sacks. On the Minot quarterback, overview of the defense this week.
It's just speed kills, and then that's a big cliche in football, but it's really true. We're not going to line up size to size. We're going to line up with speed on anybody they put out there. Michael Ferrante was amazing this week. You start looking at Gomez and some of these guys, and one of those guys were out too. The Cole of Liberty was here the other night. He didn't play. So, but those guys are playing really, really fast. And then our linebacker core with Imperiale and Nick Pridgeon and those guys and Luke Teague. I mean, they're fast kids. And then our secondary kid, we'll talk a little bit about that later, but and the guys in the secondary, they were just more athletic than we've ever been probably. So you just let those guys, get them in position, get a package that they understand, and then just let them run.
All right, want to talk about one play where Andrew Spencer and Cole Moncton kind of forced a fumble, and then Cole took it to the house. Talk about that play.
Well, first of all, I was scrambling to get out of the way because it was coming right at me, so I was trying to throw people in front of me. But yeah, Andrew fit the kid up and kind of was spinning him around and trying to pull the ball out, and then Cole came in, and instead of just blasting him, the ball got turned right to him, and as the ball started to come out, he just grabbed it and took off and took it all the way for a touchdown. So it was right in front of our bench, so the whole place went kind of crazy. And I know there's a picture on our website about it too, but it was a fun play. And so we scored one defensively, we scored one on a punt return that Jake Blue had, and then the rest was offense. So it was really a fun day for all the groups. All
right, last question about defense. You talked about the 3 sacks. Talk about the pressure that your front line was doing.
Yeah, we bring 5 and 6 a lot. We put a lot of pressure on it, but a lot of the pressure on the 2 quarterbacks they used really came from 4 guys. And Trey Telez, a true freshman kid that's flying around. Those guys put a lot of heat on you in a hurry, and they just keep coming, and they keep coming, and they keep coming. And by the end of the first half and into the third quarter, I think the team was wore out up front, and they just couldn't get their hands on us very well, and we dominated the line of scrimmage, and that was something that we hope to continue.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show, and when we come back, we'll talk offense and special teams with Jake Blue right after this.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often.
The Big 12 is not for the weak. You face Red River shootouts and destructive cyclones, with Cowboys and Longhorns ready to take you down. Every week you fight or surrender, Win or lose, you do. Or you don't. There is no other choice.
Good luck with the family. I'm home.
Oh, hi.
Where is everyone?
They're still here. I just gave everyone the HBC Wi-Fi password.
Stream like a hero. Only HBC has the fastest in-home Wi-Fi, where multiple users can download and upload, share files, and stream audio and video simultaneously. Winona State Warrior football is on HBC TV 25, coming to you in full HD. This Saturday, at Ultra Federal Credit Union Stadium, the Warriors take on the Peacocks of Upper Iowa University. Pregame at 12:45 p.m. with kickoff at 1. Catch all the Winona State Warrior home games in high definition on HBC TV 25. Presented to you by Russell & Associates, certified public accountants and business advisors.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. And Coach, I know you said it was Speed Week this week, so we'll start out with Jake Blue.
Yeah, well, Jake, I'm glad you're here, young man. Let's talk about it. Ball goes up, comes down to you. You're going to take it to the house. Talk us through it.
First things first, you got to catch the ball. Biggest thing, as you say, ball's the program. And then from there, it's first guy miss, as Coach Alinka says, as Coach May says, we work on every day. And then it's to the other 10 guys in the field, honestly. If it's not for them as a unit, we don't get to the end zone. And that's the biggest thing. And we just kind of go out there and we do our 111th. And then, things go from there. One thing happens to another, and we got in the end zone. That was huge for the game, huge momentum swing, and we kept it going from there.
And by the way, congratulations. You're the NSIC Special Teams Player of the Week. But I want to talk about the first punt return, because on that one you might have had a touchdown too, but the punter got you. Can we talk about that real quick? And what do you have to do to make the specialist miss?
You got to three-step him. You got to make the guy miss, as you always say. Can't get tackled by the punter. Just keep working on week by week. But I can say it's not going to happen again. I can promise you that. So you won't need to have this talk once again.
One of the questions I have is you're looking at in the punt return game, kick return game. You and Isaiah, who's here, are our guys back there right now. And how much work goes into preparing each week for all those returns?
I would say a lot. As Coach Linka says, we scheme a lot. We have, me and Isaiah have faith in all the other 9 guys out there. Communication's key back there, depending on where they're kicking the ball and stuff like that. So we just kind of go out and, keep the game plan is the biggest thing. You just got to go out there and do your 111th, and then from there we kind of see what happens.
Okay.
All right, I got to ask you about NSIC Special Teams Player of the Week. I know Coach doesn't like it when I ask him about the polls and the accolades and things, but what does that mean to you when you see that?
It means a lot, but you just got to keep moving forward. You can't, hang your head on that. You got to keep moving forward, keep achieving and keep grinding up the pole. And, that's a great achievement, and I'm happy for it, but, it was a unit. It was a unit thing. If it's not for, the guys up front, the other 10 guys on the field, that's not possible, and the biggest thing is, getting yards up to put our offense in a great position and getting points on the board so we can keep it going, keep the momentum going throughout the game.
All right, I want to ask you about the injury from last year. Took you out of some games. What was the rehab like, and what was that like to get back to the season?
Rehab was not that much. There's really not much you can do. It was just kind of an inner thing from Oregon kind of thing, but kind of heal it to rest. And it was basically off season, the week after it happened. Started lifting and getting after things and stuff like that. So I was just inching for spring ball to get there, and then counting down the days till fall camp just to get after it with the boys again. Couldn't wait.
You're looking at, you're involved with our offense as well, and made some big catches the other night as well. But, doing both roles, how tough is that? Every rep of day of practice, you're involved somehow. How hard is that, and how much fun is it at the same time?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I love it. It's a consistent grind, keep your mind thinking what you're going to do next. Always got to have a game plan, as Coach May says and stuff like that, and Coach Keller. You're just always working, always trying to make the most of each rep, because you never know when it's going to be your last. For example, like last year, only playing half a season and stuff like that. So it's just a consistent grind to keep moving forward.
The last question I have for you is, you're looking at that offensive group, talk about the receivers, but that's a pretty talented group right now at receivers, and we ended up leaving a couple really, really good receivers home. How much competition really is going on in that receiver group, and what's your role in all that?
There's tons of competition. You know, we're grinding every day, as Coach May and Coach Keller, and as you say yourself, you got to take every rep. You got to make the most of it. You know, do the little things right, and you got to make the most of it and make plays. You know, we know it's competitive, but you know the best guys play, and we're going out there just trying to do our thing for the best for the team.
Okay. I want to take you back to high school a little bit. Multi-sport athlete, track, basketball, football. But I want to ask about track. I saw that there's a moment that your family has on video, I guess, where you won a race in a kind of an interesting way. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was my first meet as a freshman, actually. It was an indoor meet, and it was my first 400, so I was a little bit nervous. I had to lead the whole race, and I was coming around the last turn, and I leaned into it a little bit too much, and I ended up face planting and sliding about 10 meters across the finish line. And there's a nice video of my dad going, "Oh!" But I mean, I crossed the finish line, you know, got first place, so it was a good feeling. But it's something my parents hold over me to this day, I can tell you that.
All right. Well, we'll have to look out for that video, I think, at some point. Let me ask you one last question here. How did you choose football then? Very good track athlete, champion. How did you choose football over track?
Football's my first love. It was the first sport I ever played growing up. I've been playing since, you know, kindergarten, flag football, and tackle all the way through. And, you know, I had a good opportunity when I came up and visited Winona State, and I kind of just fell in love, and I knew this was the place for me. So I kind of narrowed everything down nice and easy for me.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this week, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. We're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. Isaiah Hall will join us right after this.
When it comes to high school football, no one has you covered like HBC.
The HBC TV25 sports crew travels to local high school football stadiums to bring you our game of the week.
And crystal clear HD on HBC TV 25.
For the full schedule of games, log on to hbci.com/sports.
Catch all your local high school football action right here on HBC.
Football Night on HBC is brought to you by Lewiston Auto.
HBC Sports, your home for high school football.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
Pick your channels, not your nose. With HBC's Essentials Plus, pick and choose the channel packs of your choice without getting your fingers dirty. With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. And Coach Sawyer, you bring more speed with you.
Yeah, Isaiah Hall. Isaiah, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it very much. Let's talk about this last week. First of all, let's talk about the bus ride. And so we want to talk about the beginning of the game, and then the end, and some of the outfits that we saw in the DB group. But first, talk it through as your first start. Tell us about the trip up and how you got going.
Man, the trip up was great. You know, it was a great experience for me. Coming from high school, you know, coming from college, you know, 12-hour bus ride. Hey, I got to say I love it, you know, being with the guys on the bus. You know, I sat next to Lee's. We were talking about Trey. You know, he's a man, big guy, you know, to sit next to. But, you know, everything was good, you know, going in from the bus, going out, you know, this is the little things, like Coach Sawyer always say, you know, just being there with your team, you know, talking about the game, you know. For it to be my first start, you know, I had Adonis Brown right there with me, you know. He was just talking about, like, the little things, like go out there, you know, watch a little bit of film and stuff like that, you know. That type of stuff helped me with Andrew Spence, you know, always joking with me like, hey, you small, this, that, and that. But, you know, I got the heart, baby. That's all that matters. So with the heart, you know, anything can happen.
You know, as you got into your first start, he's been playing some nickel defense with us as well. So he plays a lot, and of course in the return game as well. But one of the things Coach Curtin mentioned this week in our staff meeting is that pound for pound, you might be one of the toughest guys in the league. They try to throw bubble at you, and explain that when you got a corner blocking you that's like 6'3", 200 pounds, then you got the bubble guy, and you destroy both of them. How do you do it?
Man, it's like you said, it's all about heart, baby. It's all about the heart, you know. If he's there, you know, I know he's bigger than me, but that don't mean nothing to me, you know. When somebody's bigger than me, I just feel like, hey, give it to him more, give him to him more. Just keep knocking him. And I showed both of them, like, hey, I'm here, baby. Number 4 gonna always be here.
You know, another thing that we talked about was, you know, stepping up. When Adonis Brown went down, he had a great game the week before, was hurt just a little bit, and you stepped right in. And it happened all around the field, and we celebrated that in our team meeting. What's that like for you to know that you're going to step in, but you got all your guys around you supporting you?
Hey, that's a big accomplishment for me, you know, like, just being in practice and, you know, like, just having mental reps. It's all about the mental reps, you know. You're going to get on the field, I'm going to show my athleticism, but it's all about the mental reps and just watching Adonis Brown, you know, him playing on the field, him giving me little feedback about doing this right, doing that right, with Andrew Spencer, you know, Cam Gavin and all those guys, just telling me, like, you know, you got to step up, you know, and did my best, you know. Went out there, did my job, and glad to say, like, I did everything that I could possibly do on the field, and I left it all out there. So.
Awesome.
All right, Coach kind of skipped over it, but I got to ask about the picture that was posted with everybody in costume. What was up with that?
That was, hey, Andrew Spencer. That's the funny guy everybody knows. That was Andrew Spencer ID. He just came up to me in the hotel, was like, hey, little guy, wear this. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, what is this for? And he was just like, you know, after we won, you know, you gotta put that on, have a team pictures for the DBs. Feel like a memory for him because it's his senior year. I'm like, oh, fine, I'll put it on then. So, you know, after the game, you know, we all got, you know, dressed right away, took a shower, went out, did a little picture, you know, then ate, talked on the bus ride home. We got made fun of too, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's an
a lot of
interesting
laughs,
picture.
a lot of laughs.
All right, as long as you can laugh about it, that's
yeah,
good.
That's all that matters.
I want to take you back to high school. You're from Apple Valley, and that's kind of a hotbed of athletics. There's a lot of great athletes that come out of there. The Jones brothers, come to mind. So when you're in an environment like that, you have all that great talent around you, does that just kind of build you up and make you want to work harder and get to that level as well?
I mean, kind of not really, because, like, you know, coming from Minneapolis, you know, like, I always had, like, that on that big part on my back. But I mean, the Jones brothers, you know, even Gary Trent, you know, I was really close friends to all of them in high school, you know, like, we all sat at the same table, played on the same basketball team, you know, so, like, with that experience, you know, I was already like, okay, yeah, you know, I'm sitting with these guys, but, you know, I went to the weight room with these guys, you know, trained with them for basketball, like, you know, the Jones brothers, you know, Ty's waking up at 5 o'clock. You know, I was there already for doing, like, stuff with, like, Ron Masoni and stuff, so, like, you know, it was already stuff there for me to do, so seeing them doing that just push me harder to keep going. I want to, you know, be successful just like these guys, and, you know, hard work pays off, so it paid off in the end for me, so.
Very good.
You know, you look at the defense, and we talk about, you know, and today I sent him a note and I said, you know, it's speed week with you two guys here, but how important is the speed, not only on the defensive side with you guys, but also in the special teams as one of you and Jake being our top kick return guys?
Man, I say speed is like one of the biggest things on the field because, I mean, you probably don't have the size, but if you have the speed, you can get there faster than those guys that's bigger, you know, more slower, but like me and Jake Bulu always talk about, hey, when we get the ball, speed, you know, catch it first. Always catch the ball. But why when you catch it, you know, go off of Coach Lincoln's schemes and, you know, we just do our best. Me and Jake Bulu always back there talking, communicating, because communicating is the big key with speed. You know, you got to, with being on a football field with speed, you got to communicate. So our first thing is, you know, catch the ball, obviously, but after that, take off.
The last question I have for you is playing corner. I think it's the toughest position. You and the quarterback, to be honest with you, have the toughest jobs, and yours is a lot more physical than the quarterback's. But why is it so difficult to play corner at any level?
Man, I gotta say, when you have wide receivers coming off the line full speed at you, you know, you gotta flip your hips. You gotta have loose hips, you know, like, because if you don't, you know, you can get done for it. And like, not just that, corners are like everybody in the stand see DBs. So, you know, if you one mistake, like the whole crowd see it. So for corners, I just think it's very difficult to, like, you know, look at the quarterback, read 3-step, read 5-step, then look at the wide receiver, know what he's doing. And reading other receivers is just hard. But I mean, hey, I gotta say I love it though.
Sure.
All right, well, we're out of time for this segment. Isaiah, thank you for joining us, and good luck this week.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll talk about a home game next week, or this Saturday, right after this.
In the Big Ten, you're always under attack. No matter where you look, the competition is fierce. Every inch, every yard, every game touchdown, Buckeye, is taken by force. But you like it this way.
There it is! Touchdown! Wow! With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often. Winona State Warrior football is on HBC TV 25, coming to you in full HD. This Saturday at Ultra Federal Credit Union Stadium, the Warriors take on the Peacocks of Upper Iowa University. Pregame at 12:45 p.m. with kickoff at 1. Catch all the Winona State Warrior home games in high definition on HBC TV 25. Presented to you by Russell & Associates, certified public accountants and business advisors.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. Before we get to Upper Iowa, I got to ask you, you're 4-0, but we keep seeing on social media 1-0, and I think that's kind of one of your slogans this year, 1-0, win this week. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's just our kids are really mentally tough, and we're trying to even do as much as we can with mental conditioning as well. And that little mantra that we have, 1-0, really provides them to put it in perspective, to only work within a small parameter because otherwise it gets too big. We talk about it in our mental training before the game every week, and we talk about bringing it down to a focus point that you can manage. Because if we can do that, then our kids can play more relaxed. Even though they're excited, they can play more relaxed, and I think we're seeing the results from that. So it's really about the mental side of the game more than it is getting out and there's too much going on and you get distracted.
All right, a quick injury update. How are you doing health-wise?
Actually, we had a good week. So that's something that, we sat out a couple kids. We mentioned Adonis Brown. We mentioned Darren Bankin. And we expect they're back this week. So really we're getting back to full strength. We limped through a couple games here like every college team does. But we got great kids backing up, and they stepped right in, and we continue to roll 4-0. It's the first time we've been there since 2003. So we're going to celebrate it until practice on Tuesday.
All right, and then Upper Iowa is this weekend. They're 3-1 coming into the game. How do you match up against them?
I think we're excited about it. We've played pretty well against them over the years, and I know they're well coached. Tom Shea does a good job with these guys every week. They have a couple of former players of ours that are in their program now, but they come with an attitude. They're going to play well. They can score some points. They played some big games, and they had a big game with Duluth, and that one they played pretty well in. So we know that we're going to get their very best, especially now that if we're ranked. They're even going to be more jacked up about that. I'm sure that's in their locker room already. But they're a good football team. We got to play at our best to win.
All right, and last thing, plug for your luncheon at 4-0. I bet a lot of people are going to be excited to hear more about the team.
Well, I hope so. We've been getting about 40 or 50 people each week at Riverport at noon, and we'd love to have more people there, of course. And I always bring players just like this and that's the highlight, is to get to know some of the players. And also this week, Justin, we're having Youth Day, Maury Miller Football Day at our game. So we're inviting all kids from around the area, 8th grade and under, to come to our game, wear a jersey, get in free.
All right, sounds good. Good luck this week.
Thanks.
And we'll see you next week here on the Tom Sawyer Show. And if you can't be at the game on Saturday, watch us right here on HBC TV 25. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.